do another round explanations. When I start, I like to start question number 7, number 8 together because they are related. All right. And I modify, remember two review examples. I already posted one called review web, another called review JSTL. And I changed with the newer version. I add another example. So I will post the newer version later. Yeah. First, from question number 8, let's look at so here, the EL. So we're talking about EL. Specifically, we are looking at the first named variable in EL. So here, let's review that part. All right. Because question number 7, you need to answer the question, first name the variable, but for a special case, for this special case. So what's that? It is a JSP local variable. This case. Yeah. All right. Yeah. Pavan Kumar is coming. All right. So let me check the name quickly. Yeah. Pavan Kumar. All right. First, what type of objects can we put as the first named variable for an EL expression? Yeah, so let's review that part. Yeah. The first one, we know that's EL, implicit object. That's one type. Yeah. 11, right? Yeah, so I give you the list. There are 11 EL implicit objects. So those 11 names we can use as the first named variable of an EL expression. All right. Second, we call it a map object. So what do you see here? Map object. Yeah. And third case, a Java Bean object. All right. Yeah. Number 4, a list object. Number 5, an array object. See, that's all the possibilities. These 5 items list all the possible cases for the first named variable of an EL expression. The last 2, when we access elements by indices. Yeah. Here I emphasize this because we have a few questions we need to access by indices. Yeah, later I will go there. We have number 3, number 9, two similar questions. So access by indices. Now we will go there later. All right. And Java, a map object, Java bean, so we know through attributes. Okay, attributes in certain scope. All right. From this list, you can see there is no JSP local variable, right? JSP local variable not included in the list. List of that 5 items. Okay, yeah. These 5 items, okay? Yeah. Then what would happen? Yeah, so you can see when you want to output this EL expression, you put an X there, right? Although in a JSP scriptlet, you assign a value 5 to this X local variable. It's a local variable. Okay. Yeah. And but when EL engine resolves the value of this EL expression, first it searches based on this list. Yeah. Okay. First, it searches EL implicit objects. Is there an EL implicit object called this name, X? No. Yeah. Then, after that, it searches attributes in different scopes. Page scope, request scope, session scope, application scope. All the scope, possible scopes. If there is an attribute called this name X. Yeah. Here in this question, we assume no. Okay. So in this question, we assume no attributes, no attribute with this name. All right, yep. Okay. Then what would happen? Missing. Okay, yeah. So here the question, will you see an exception thrown for this EL expression? Yeah. Yeah. We know missing, right? But when it is missing, what is the behavior under this situation? Okay, yeah. All right. Let me show you example. So let you see what is the behavior. Okay. All right. So here I create a, let me see. I create a new item. Yeah. In this index.jsp, I add the last item, you see EL. EL with the first named parameter variable for a local variable. Yeah. So we try to test it a little bit. Yeah. To do that, we need to call a servlet to prepare some data. Okay, although we do not show any specific data, yeah, but let's just go to that EL local servlet. So in this one, I forward to a JSP called ellocal.jsp. Yeah. And I put some data for comparison. So I put an attribute XY with value double X double Y value for comparison purpose. Okay. Yeah. So then I do the forwarding. Then for the testing page, ellocal.jsp. Yeah, right here. So I do some testing. Yeah. First, EL expression. Remember, I talked about some simple operations, arithmetic operation in EL. So 1 plus, 3 minus the operation I wrote on paper before, but here I show you the value. So I test it. I put these two expressions, let you see their values, the first line. Second line, the comparison attribute, XY attribute. So we have that value. Okay, so we know its value. All right. Then the third line, I create a local JSP variable, x equals 5. Then I display result colon $, and I try to see what's that. What we will see that expression. Okay, that's simple. Yeah. So let me show you the output. Yeah, very simple. All right. Yeah. EL, this last link, we click it. Then you see, yeah, the first two lines as expected, right? Simple EL arithmetic operations. 1 plus 2, 3. 3 minus 1, 2, as expected. But this one, you can see $ curly braces X, nothing. You cannot find any match for this first named variable, but no complaint at the same time. Yep, just display empty string, nothing there, okay? And no complaint. Yeah. Last time I show you a special situation, there is a complaint, right? Last class. But that's about a Java Bean case. Yeah. That's about this Java Bean case last time with a complaint. Okay. So you can look at that previous example. I include that example in the review web, the bottom line. So that's the added example. In that one, the Java Bean is there. The Java Bean object can be found in the search. Okay. It matches some attribute, but the second named variable supposed to be a Java Bean property, but I misspelled the name of the Java Bean property. In that situation, you can see a runtime error. Yeah, so we can see a lot of error messages telling us some Java Bean property is wrong. Yeah, so that example. Yeah. So with these two examples, so you can see sometimes EL does not complain. Okay, here like this one, yeah, no complaint, even no match. Yeah, but sometimes it does complain. Okay, yeah. So you need to know the details, the situations it does not complain, and the situation, special case, it complains. Yeah. So these two examples. Yeah. All right. So now I think you can answer these questions easily, right? Yeah. After you have this much background information, now you can answer these questions easily. Okay. Yeah. So that's this one. Yeah. Another one I like to explain this question number 5. Yeah. Because this property is related to our bookstore example. Yeah. In the bookstore example, we need to use session to, we need to use session to store shopping cart, right? Yeah, the shopping cart example. But when we use session object to store shopping cart, then there is one thing we need to check. Every time when we need to put a new product into the shopping cart, we want to check, do we already have a shopping cart, or we need to, or we need to create a new one. Yeah. So that is something we need to do detection. Yeah. So here, so let me bring up the, bring up that that special location, the shopping cart. Yeah, here. Yeah. I take screenshot. Yeah. So I take screenshot. Starting from this line, so you can see HTTP session. Here we use the false. Yeah. So let me use a different color, blue pen. All right. Yeah. Here we use this one. So what's the meaning of that? Yeah. So the meaning, look at the expression here, explanation here. Yeah. Forward client to page if no session exists or no books are selected. That means the shopping cart is empty. If no shopping cart, yeah, because the shopping cart has not been created. No shopping cart. Yeah. So actually, we are doing shopping cart detection. We need to do one thing to check if there is a shopping cart. Yeah. Here we assume if there is a session object, there is a shopping cart. If there is no session object, then there is no shopping cart. Yeah. So the logic is like this. The logic is like this. If no session object then no shopping cart. Simple logic. Okay, all right. So here we intentionally use this false parameter. What does that mean? Yeah. It means if there is no existing session object Do not create it. Do not create it. Yeah. Because we need to use this feature to detect if there is a existing session object. Okay, yeah. So do not create it. All right. So here you can imagine that. Yeah. If there is an existing session object, then take it. Okay, just take it. Yeah. If no, leave there nothing. Do not create it. Okay, do not create it. Why it is important? Because later here in this line, we need to check if the session object exists or not. Here, because if you create it, if after detection there is no session object, you create one, so then this place won't be null, right? Yeah. So that means in that line number 18, we won't create it if there is no existing session object. Then here you can check if it's null or not. Yeah. If it's null, that means no shopping cart, right? So then forward to the beginning of the page. Yeah. Yeah, because if there is no shopping cart, the customer has no cart. Yeah. Alex, yeah. Alex, let me check his name. All right, yeah. So here you can see, here we check if it is null or not. So we know no shopping cart. So this line tells us no shopping cart. So then we forward our customer to the beginning of the page. Beginning of the page, start over from the first page. And because later, when our customer add the first product into the shopping cart, add to cart. Later, there is an add to cart action, right? Add to cart action. Then at that place, a session object must be created. No. A session object, so at that place, you can see what we need is if there is an existing session object, we just take it. If there is no existing session object, then we need to create one. But in this place, add to cart, this place. Okay, yeah. So think about that logic. Sometimes we need to create a new session object if there is no session object. Sometimes we don't want to create. We need to check the current status if there is a existing session object or not. Yeah, so here, from this example, so you can understand that background. Then, now when you come back to this question number 5, I think you will feel much better, right? After you have that shopping cart example understood in your mind, then this question is pretty straightforward. Okay, yeah. All right. Then let's look at those indices. Yeah, this indices case. Yeah. I remember the question number 3 I talked about before. Yeah, okay, yeah. So the question number 9, similar. similar here. All right. But although similar, but some little things, little details are different. So number 3, look at this part. Double quotes 2, double quotes 0. Okay, so the first thing. Double quotes, we know the string value. But this book list, this is a list object. List object and array object, we need to access elements inside through indices. Indices. Yeah. So here, actually, we expect an index number. All right, yeah. But what you see is a string value. Don't worry, yeah, because in Java, some simple data type conversion occurs automatically. Okay, yeah. So in Java, JSP, Java, simple, must be simple, okay? Simple data type conversion. Automatically, okay? Yeah. So here we expect index number, so the EL engine will convert it to number 2 automatically. Okay, so it becomes number 2 automatically. So it's legal, it's valid. Okay, yeah. All right. Similarly, this convert to 0 automatically. Okay. Yeah. Automatically, yeah, but here, this is a EL arithmetic operation, right? Minus 100 arithmetic operation. So what is the value of this book list bracket 0? So you check, there is a number there, right? There is a string number. Don't worry, string number, we know when we need, so think about this. When we need to do arithmetic operation, we need a numerical value, right? Because string values, we cannot apply arithmetic operations on string values. So in this situation, there is an automatic conversion. String to numerical value conversion, 1025 conversion. So what you will see, a valid numerical value, 1025 there. But you may argue, so if I put a 1 here, not 0, 1, we will get a new music, right? Because new music cannot be converted to reasonable numerical value, right? Yeah. So in that case, this won't be a valid arithmetic operation. No. So if you put a string that cannot be converted to some numerical value easily, so then, that behavior, that detail, I may need to use experiments to test a little bit. Yeah. So because that could be no complaints. there is a possibility it could be no complaint. Yeah. Yeah. So it's interesting. I add another item. So in my review JSTL, yeah, another line. So I test it. Yeah. I put that music. Yeah. I try to use the music value to do arithmetic operation and see what happens. Is there a complaint or just no complaint? Yeah. If music cannot be converted to natural numerical value, there is a possibility. Yeah, there is a possibility it is zero there. Okay, I don't know if it's a zero case or other cases. Yeah, yeah. So I can check. But in this question, that's not related to the answer of this question, because this question, I do not put the music there. So you have, you know, a good value that could be converted there. Yeah. So it won't impact your answer. Yeah. I just feel interesting. Yeah. For the different string value, we like to see what would happen. Yeah. Another thing is when you compare option C and option E, this index but one without double quotes, another with double quotes. That could be different. Yeah. Without double quotes, we know we have some rule. Yeah. Without double quotes, do the search, right? Yeah. EL engine, do the search. Implicit object first. Yeah, we know there is no match implicit object. So after that, attribute. Is there an attribute with this name, index name? Yeah. Here we have, right? So this attribute, there is an attribute with index name. Okay. Yeah. And we know its value is another string, double quotes 1, but that double quotes 1 can be converted to numerical value 1 automatically, right? Yeah. So although you see string value 1, but you know, actually you can get a number 1 here. Yeah. Yeah. But here with double quotes, here you can see with double quotes, then it's different. Okay? Yeah. With double quotes, then the rule applied different. Yeah. With double quotes. Yeah. With double quotes, so think about that. This is a list object. List object. Okay. List object, then we use square bracket operator. Then we expect an index number there. Here, what do you give me here? It's a string value. Right? String value, can this string value be converted to a numerical value naturally? Right? Think about that. Yeah. So it cannot be converted to numerical value naturally, right? Yeah. So yeah, here you get an idea. Yeah. The string value cannot be converted to any reasonable numerical value. Okay. Yeah. So here actually this one answers that question, the we consider music there. Yeah. So here I can, because the music, if I put music, yeah, you know, that will have the similar situation, right? Like this one here. Yeah. Music, you know, cannot be converted to reasonable numerical value here. Yeah. So what do you see? Yeah. So we can predict, you know, we can predict some error message here. Yeah. Yeah. So I will create a new item in that review JSTL. Yeah. Let me see if my prediction is correct or not. Okay. Yeah. All right. So that is this question. Yeah. Then after, there is another one. I remember I explained before, but there is another one I explained before, but I feel my explanations not still, I need to improve it. Yeah. So that expression still not, you know, because here, that's related to this question, number 14. Yeah. Number 14, here, the current servlet URL pattern is this. Yeah. In all the examples, I talk about folder case, file case, yeah, but here, actually, because this is servlet. So I need to improve that explanation here. Okay. So if it's a JSP, then the current location, you know, folder, file, current location. Yeah, because that's related to physical name and logical name. Physical name, typically for JSP, we have physical name, okay? Logical name, typically for servlets. Okay, yeah. Here, because we have a servlet, so it is a logical name. Okay, if there is a logical name, that means no folder or file corresponding to it. Okay, no folder or file, because when we talk about folder or file, that's the physical object, right? Folder, you can see the physical folder in your web application. When we talk about file, we can see a physical file in your web application. So it's a physical object. So, but here, because we already know it is this URL pattern is from the servlet. So it's a logical name. Logical name, no physical object. Okay, you cannot find any physical object corresponding to this path. All right. So then our understanding, yeah, it is still a path, right? Yeah. Even the logical name, it is still a path. All right. But when we understand a path, this Y item, okay, this Y item, so think about. Yes, yeah. Yeah, that's right. Yes, there is some uncertainty, yeah. Because although here we have this, how do you know another servlet? Yeah. How do you know another servlet? Okay, all right. How do you know there is this URL pattern? X, 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 Y, 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 Z, Z, Z for another servlet, right? So think about that, okay? Yeah. So then, all right. So for this question, yeah, look at this forward. We're using forward here, okay? When we use forward, remember, I said before, use absolute URL, absolute, yeah, with that slash first, with that slash, something after it. Then we can get a good answer. So if you use absolute URL here, you do not need to worry about this X, Y. What's the meaning of that? Okay, yeah. Because you use absolute URL for this location. So whatever its meaning, so if there is or not, right? There is that Z or not, your absolute URL answer the same. Yeah, so that's not important. But if you use relative, then that could be tricky. Yeah, because you don't know, if there is, other levels. Yeah, so that could be tricky. Okay, that could be tricky. Okay, yeah. So here, the best answer for this question, use absolute URL. The good thing is because we have forward. So your URL should start with this slash. Then, the location information after the slash. We know this corresponds to the web application name, my web app. We know this automatically corresponds to this slash character. Okay, yeah. Because we don't want to type our web application name explicitly. Yeah. We don't want to hard code it. Type the web application name in our code directly. The reason is simple, because think about if your web application is moved to a different server and the web application name could be changed to a different name. That could happen. Yeah. So if you do the hard-coded way, then you have to change everywhere, right? So that's not good. Yeah. So, our, basic principle, we want to avoid typing the explicit name for our current web application. Okay, unless, because there is some very special situation you cannot avoid. That could happen. Yeah, we try our best to avoid. Yeah, but if it cannot, then we have to find a good solution. Yeah. Okay. All right. So here the suggestion using the absolute URL way, put in this answer. Do not use the relative URL way. Yeah, because that one could be very complex. The explanation, could be confusing. Yeah, could be confusing. Yeah, I may need to do some testing. Yeah, but for our class, I think we already covered too much details. Yeah, so I do not need to go too far. Okay, do not need to go too far, because you can always explore more and more details, right? Yeah, there is no end. You can always explore more and more details. Yeah, but I think for this class, we have done enough. Okay, so that should be enough. Okay, yeah, so we have to stop somewhere. All right, yeah. So that's what I like to talk about. Yeah. Anything else? Yeah, let me see if I have anything relatively hard to, yeah. All right. So here it looks like we have 10 something minutes. Yeah. Let us look at this question number 10. Yeah. Yeah, because it looks like a little yeah. Yeah. Map object. Yeah. Here we create a map object. Yeah, but at the same time, list object. Map object, list object. Yeah. So then when we use them, the ways to use these two different types of object are different. Now, map object, we have the key part, right? We have the key part. Yeah. List object, we expect to use indexes to refer to the elements inside it. Yeah. All right, so here, that which will cause error. Assume that an attribute named xbean can be found and is of the type carbean. Yeah. So xbean part is okay. Yeah. So if you want to find an error, you need to look at the, second named variable, and not the first one. Yeah. All right. xbean, it's a Java bean. Okay. Yeah. Java bean object. Then brand, yeah. So dot brand, yeah. The first, second, we need to see if there is a brand property. Yeah. Return brand, get brand. So string. Yeah. So the brand, because there is a brand property here. Okay. Yeah. xbean dot models. Yeah. Look at, is there a models property? Get models. Yeah. Look at the get models. Yeah. So there is a property called get models, and this property is a map object. This models property, it's a map object. Okay. Map object. Map object, so we should use it as a map object. Okay. So for a map object and double quotes, so that should be the key of the item. Yeah, search key. Yeah. In order to find an item in a mapped object, we need to provide a search key. Yeah. Here, this double quotes SUV, so that's the search key. Okay, yeah. And look at here, double quotes models. Yeah, we use square operator, right? Although we use square operator, but we still will refers to that, get models, that method. So return a map object. Map object, then dot truck. So it's a map object. We access its key called a truck. Use dot operator. Use dot operator. Is that okay? Yeah. So here, think about. So this is a map object. And this map object, we use dot operator to access a key called a truck. Is that okay? Right? Yep. Yep. And here, option E, X being, but this time we want to access cars property. So this method is called cars property, but this method returns a list object. It's a list object, right? It's a list object. We suppose to provide index number to it, right? Yeah, index number, yeah, to it. Look at that, dot compact. Can you connect a list object? And another thing is a list object. Can you use a dot operator? Yeah, because list object, you need to provide a index. But here it's a dot operator. Okay, dot operator. We know dot operator is the old way. It does not support indexes. Dot operator, only square bracket support indexes. Dot operator does not support indexes. Yeah, because it's very natural. Dot 1, dot 2, dot 3. That's not good. Okay. Yeah. So the old dot operator, you cannot use indexes. Okay. Yeah. And here, compact, compact, even not a number, right? Yeah. Compact. Yeah. So even not a number. Yeah. All right. So look at, if you put all the pieces together, yeah, understand the background, then you can answer the question. Okay. Yeah. So here, I think I pretty much cover most of the questions. Yeah. Yeah. So now when you work, yeah, although you need to understand most properties of EL, yeah, but it should not be that hard. All right. Yeah. So after this much study, examples, explanations, yeah. So I feel you should be okay. Okay. Yeah. All right. So I will make this video and post as soon as possible. So